Hey guys, how's been vacations? And yeah, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today. It's kind of my room. For some reason, the air conditioning doesn't work properly, so I end up either being roasting my ass off or cold. So it's either one. It's not as bad as Oklahoma though, where I'd be like, I'd be like Christopher Lambert in this movie Fortress 2, and he's stuck in the hole, which is really the pit they call it, which is actually some fucking bubble and fucking out of the fucking space station where you're basically exposed to the sun. I'll get into that later. Anyway, this is if you know already, it's a little title of it. This is my review, Fortress 2 Reentry. It's not a rant actually. There's gonna be some things I'm gonna rant about it, but in all honesty, this film was a lot better than I thought it would be. It's not a good movie, but it's a time waster. It's a movie you can watch on a rainy day. It's not the worst sequel ever made. It's still not that great, but I've seen a lot worse films than Fortress 2. So anyway, it's directed by Geoff Murphy, who gave us Under Siege 2, which is actually 10 times better than Fortress 2, even with all that movie's flaws. And basically, you have Christopher Lambert, of course, he returns, or Lambert, or whatever. He returns as Brennick, as John Brennick from the first film, Fortress. Now I guess he's been he's been on the run from the Mental Corporation for a while now. And now, like, I guess he's trying to settle down with his family, with his wife and his kid. And the wife is played by a completely different actress, but at least they tried here. She's at least kind of sort of reminds you of Lauren Bacall a little bit. The kid is supposed to be 10 years old. I don't buy it. This movie is supposed to take place 7 years after the first film. The kid was just a baby, a newborn at the end of the first film. That would mean that he would what? He would be 7, right? He would not be 10. So that means you're like fucked up with fucking year, or at least 8. Like you just, I don't know, the writer just forgot about, just decided, oh, he's 10. Even though really he's supposed to be 8, but we really don't care about that. This movie makes logic its bitch. And it's not in a good way. And I'll get into that, later. There are so many unlogical, completely bullshit moments in this film that it just honestly sort of just turns you off of the movie. I mean, especially one moment, which I will get to, which is so motherfucking stupid. It's mind-blowingly idiotic. So anyway, basically the whole idea is that this film was sort of like a rehash of the first film. What happens is Brennick, the opening, but I was surprised by the opening of the film. Geoff Murphy did a good job setting up some suspense and getting some thrills going on in the opening of the movie. You had a good little, this, this government, Mentel shows up and, after some guy basically tricked Brennick and basically, turned him in, basically, basically he's one of those guys who shows up, I'm going to help you, but really I work for Mentel, and I just led them to you, because I'm a traitor douchebag. So anyway, you basically have they come in and there's Brennick has this he's outfitted his whole house like fucking doomsday preppers, man. He's got everything all set up, trap doors and stuff. He's all ready just to go down there and be like, oh, I'm just gonna walk down. So he basically has an underground little hiding place underneath his house, and so he and his wife and his kid go underneath there. But his wife and his kid are the ones that actually get away. He has like a little grate area that they get behind. He gets caught, but not without a fight. So he goes up, and there's a helicopter's trying to chase after him. He gets in the back of a jeep. He grabs a fucking bazooka, blows up the fucking helicopter, man. But then, of course, he ends up getting captured by the second wave of soldiers that came in for backup. So he ends up getting captured, and now he gets sent to a new fortress, which is now in space. So it's the fortress prison in space. I mean, it doesn't remind you of Lockout. This came first. And to be honest, this movie has more prison-like stuff than the Lockout does. But this film also doesn't really bring the R-rated action. The only reason why this film's rated R, in my opinion, is because of some language and because of fucking nudity. There's not, compared to the first film, there's like jack shit in terms of the gore department. There's a hell of a lot of TNA, but I don't, TNA is nice to look at and everything, but in this type of movie, I want some more gore or some good action set pieces or something. You know, I don't give a fuck about TNA, to be honest, in this type of movie. So it just seems like, you know, filler or something like that. So anyway, you basically have sent to this new prison in space, and he meets some of his fellow freedom fighters on there. Then he meets this black guy, who I think his name is... I'll look at a trusty source of IMDb. Let's look here. IMDb. This actor... His name really Nestor? What kind of fucking name is that? I don't know. That doesn't sound right. Who is this guy? I don't remember his fucking name. I really don't. The only stars in this that honestly are somewhat recognizable are Christopher Lambert and Pam Grier. And yeah, the villain Patrick Malahide, I guess. British David Warner wannabe. Who the hell? Is it Roberson? Paul Bouncy? He's not a fucking Sally Holt and that. Oh, jeez. I remember what the guy's name is. I don't... Oh, okay. Alright, that guy. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at some information. I just don't remember who the hell the guy is. Oh, it's Marcus. Okay, Marcus is the guy's name. And he's not even on the front of the first of the cast. Marcus. Marcus. Where are you, Marcus? Marcus Jackson is played by Anthony C. Hall. Anthony C. Hall in this. God. This guy... He acts like fucking, you know, Tyrese. He looks a little bit Tyrese. He's a Tyrese Gibson wannabe, basically, in this movie. He's not done that much. He's been in, like, a little bit parts in Blue Chips, Baywatch. He played the pizza man. He played the pizza man and the client, for fuck's sake. He was the locator technician in Virtuosity. This guy's done jack shit. This movie is probably his biggest role in any of the movies he's been in is in this movie. And he plays a supporting cast character. But he has this, he's a stereotypical black guy. I'm not trying to want to be, you know, rapper type. I'm not trying to be racist here, but this is so goddamn stereotypical, this character. It just kind of hurts watching him. And then he's trying to make some catchphrase for some reason. He says this line three or four times throughout the whole movie. He's like, "Kiss my ass. Well, kiss my ass, man. Kiss my ass." It's like, are you trying to create a new catchphrase? What, are you trying to do a more hardcore street version of "Kiss my grits"? It doesn't really work. I'm sorry. So, I mean, this guy's supposed to be some super genius who can make a fucking radio transmitter out of milk carton and a couple condoms. That's what he said. Fucking Black MacGyver. Wanna be, you know, fucking Black MacGyver over here. So anyway, the prison is headed by this new guy who's played by Patrick Malahide, and he plays Peter Teller. And this guy, I don't like this actor, okay? He's not particularly menacing. Okay, he just seems like, you know, the high school principal or something. Like, whatever. You don't really take him that seriously. And plus, he sounds like a wannabe David Warner. And he sort of looks like, if you squint, and, you know, if you kind of squint your eyes a little bit, he looks like a balding Dave Foley. You know, the guy from Kids in the Hall? You know, Dave Foley is not intimidating. So if you're going for the Dave Foley, you know, villain thing, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. So Patrick Malahide, he sucked. I did not care for him. He's like a wannabe David Warner mixed with Michael Ironside. They should have just fucking got Michael Ironside for this. How awesome would that be? That would make it a hell of a lot more intimidating, that's for sure. Have Michael Ironside. Yeah, he's bald and dude, but he's 10 times more intimidating than Patrick Malahide. Why do I think... when I hear his last name, I think of fucking Children on the Corn. Malahide! Come to the corn, Malahide! No, that's not really what... That's what I think of. It's the first thing that pops in my head. So when I back into the plot, the space prison, the new thing is that instead of intestinators, they put cameras in your body. Okay, alright, okay, interesting. Okay, I'll give it that. One of the implants, though, malfunctions, and this guy basically becomes sort of like a dude. You know, becomes basically mentally kind of... He basically gets his brain fried, so he's like, you know... he knows a little bit, you know, it's like Lockout. This guy's got his head fried. And he ends up helping them in the end and doing some improbable shit. But, so anyway... So basically, we're getting the gist of the movie. Of course, the whole idea is Brennick's like, I'm going to get out. I don't care. I will die. I'd rather die. You know, I'm going to get back and see my family or I'll die trying. And we're like, okay, alright. The first problem with this sequel is, for one, I didn't ask for the sequel. Nobody asked for a sequel to Fortress. I mean, I might not really care for the ending that much, but I mean, looking back at it, compared to this fucking ending... in this film that I'll get to soon enough, I mean, I gotta say that's a hell of a lot better than this ending. And I gotta be honest, I mean, it kind of wrapped things up. We didn't need a sequel. And if you were gonna do a sequel, don't half-ass it! And do direct-to-video shit on a $12 million budget, which doesn't even look like they used the $12 million. Looks like they used it to pay Pam Grier and Christopher Lambert probably their salaries, and throw whatever's left over for Patrick Malahide, who was like the 12th choice of probably villains to cast in a movie. So anyway, right off the bat, Christopher Lambert starts, it causes trouble. There's this British douchebag. He's played by this actor. He plays a guy named Wells. It's Carl Chase. This guy, he looks like an old motherfucker. He looks like he's in his 60s. You see this guy without his shirt, he's got bad teeth, this guy thinks he's intimidating, and he's not. I look at this guy, I'm like, you're an old man. Christopher Lambert could kick your ass in his sleep. So this guy just basically shows up, starts, you know, causing shit in the mess hall, and he's all like, nobody likes a smart guy, Brennick. And of course, you know, Christopher Lambert's like, you must be very popular. You disrespected me, punk. Not looking for any trouble. Found you anyway. It's like, this guy's just a piece of shit. And you know what fucking Brennick does? He just easily just punches this guy in the fucking face and breaks his nose. You broke my nose, Brennick. It's like, yeah, because you're fucking an old fuck. You're an old fuck. Get your ass out of here. What the fuck do you think you're trying to do? You 50-year-old fucking... I mean, the only people who can really honestly buy it, you know, for old Sly. Sly's in his 60s, but I'm not going to be like, oh, you're too old, you're going to break your hip, and be like, what did you say to me? You know, I get my ass kicked. This guy doesn't look like anything. He doesn't even particularly muscular. He just looks kind of scary in the face. Looks like he went through some hard times. So anyway, you also have a fight in this mess hall where they actually kind of like this having an actual female in this. Some tall, big, burly chick throwing guards around like they're nothing. And she ends up basically getting tasered and then shot out into space. And then basically you have this interesting subplot in the movie between these two guards. One is Sato, the sadistic Japanese martial arts, you know, asshole. The other is this other guy who I think it's kind of silly in his last name, remember correctly? Let's see if I can remember it. No. Sato. No, it's not. Sato's played by Yuji Okumoto. Hickey? What's the guy's name? The actor who played this other guard reminded me a lot of what the fuck is his name? Greg Kinnear. Reminded me a lot of Greg Kinnear. I think it's Frederick. I think it was the actor Frederick Lynn. He played a guy named Gordon. And yeah, he was all like, you know, Frederick.